Hello and welcome in. Today we're going to look at the SafewayAlbertson's Bashas and Fries ad in the local Arizona market. These ads are running from March 26th to April 1st. So first we're going to look at Safeway's ad. Like I talked about in my previous video, you can really save a lot of money by going conventional grocery store, shopping at your local grocery stores. Each and every city throughout the United States have local grocery chains that, have to compete with what's called the low price front page leader. So a very low gross profit item to help bring people into their stores and get people to their websites so that they can be competitive in the market and build market share. And the Phoenix and Arizona market is no different from any other. Each and every community, if you take the time to look at your local grocery stores, you will be able to save money over your bigger Costco's and Sam's Club and your Walmart, and in some cases your Winco's and, just these larger, basically bulk price companies. So today we're going to look at the SafewayAlbertson's ad. Today they're running for $3.99 USDA choice boneless beef chuck roast, cross rib, bottom round, eye round, top round, petite or untrimmed tri-tip roast for $3.99 a pound. Boy, I can tell you, the best deal in this whole situation is either that petite or that tri-tip roast untrimmed. Now, when you buy that tri-tip roast untrimmed, realize that it is going to come fully capped in fat. But man, for $3.99 a pound, where this piece of tri-tip is in that $12.99 a pound range, and then on sale for in that $8 to $10 a pound range. And tri-tip itself is one of those pieces of meat that, God, in my opinion, just rarely goes on sale. I mean, it's just kind of one of those really good pieces of meat that everybody desires, and they just don't put it on sale. So looking throughout this one part of this ad, that tri-tip roast is a great deal. And then this petite is what I would consider a pretty good deal. $3.99 in general, especially for chuck roast. Man, fabulous deal. Chuck roast being one of the best pieces of meat to, throw in your crock pot and break down, make shredded beef, shredded tacos, just so many different things you can make out of it. Even the boneless cross rib, which cross rib is one of those just unmarketed piece of meats. It just kind of goes by the wayside and isn't marketed as much as it should be, in my opinion, because it is a very good piece of meat too, and probably the closest cousin to the chuck roast, which it is. The bottom round, eye round, top round roasts, like I've talked about in the past, the bottom round, in my opinion, makes very good beef jerky. The top round makes very good beef jerky. These are also slicing roasts. You're going to put them in the oven 3 or 4 hours at a pretty low temperature. And then you're going to serve it with an au jus or some sort of gravy, because it's going to be a leaner, drier piece of meat with not as much flavor. So you'd want to serve it with some sort of gravy or, or au jus to, flavor the meat basically, or so to speak. So those are good deals. $3.99. Albertson Safeway running like a full roast sale across the board, basically at $3.99 a pound. Man, phenomenal. And then next in line, they have their, baby back ribs for just $1.99 a pound. God, this is a phenomenal sale as well. Last week we had Fries run their baby back ribs at $1.99 a pound as well. And to me, this is one of the best first edition rib prices, of what is spring and leading into summer. So $1.99 a pound, sold whole in the bag, which is normal. That is a great deal as well. and one we should take advantage of, because the regular price for these are going to be in that $3.99 to $4.99 a pound range. Then next in line is your 80% lean ground beef at $3.49 a pound. This is just a good average Joe sale. Man, they are losing money on this though. Yeah, 80% to $3.99 a pound. Your cheapest, meats, like you're seeing with their roasts, are $3.99 a pound. So if you grind any of those meats, you're already losing 50 cents a pound for it. So at $3.49 a pound, 80%, good for hamburgers, meatloaf, meatball, just tacos, just so many different good things that you can make with your 80%. You are going to lose 20% of that product as you cook it down, but realize it will have a nice flavor because of the fat that's in it. And then over here, half gallons for 67 cents each on your first two. So basically, you're going to get a gallon of milk for $1.35 a gallon. This is a pretty good deal. And then the half gallons are kind of nice because you don't feel like you're wasting. They're a little more convenient. And then last but not least, my opinion for this main ad is 87 cents on a whole fried chicken. That's super cheap. I mean, Albertsons, Safeway is really pushing their center of the plate protein ad to try to get you to come into their store. And then they have a lot of compliments. I mean, this might be the week to go spend your money at Safeway, because they are really putting a good ad out to really drive sales. They also have Sara Lee bread. If you're a fan of Sara Lee bread, I personally am a fan of this bread line. And at $1.97 each on the first two, it's a good price as well. These are digital offers, so of course you're going to have to go download these coupons digitally to get these offers. And then we have a 4 for $12 on Coke and Pepsi products. And for the bottled 6-packs, it's a pretty decent deal. $3 a 6-pack. I'm pretty happy with that, and definitely one that I would like to take advantage of as well. Then buy two get two on the 12 packs of Pepsi and Coke products is another good one. So here we are. Albertsons to Safeway are pretty much going for it, trying to get your business. Let's look at some of their, each and every week, especially Albertsons and Safeway, they run a $5 Friday or $5 3-day sale. And in their $5 menu this week, so to speak, you have the petite sirloin steaks, in the value pack for $5, or you have the extra large raw shrimp peeled 21-25 count for $5 a pound. Now let's talk about this $5 ad a little bit. You remember up here at the $3.99 a pound where it said you could get a petite roast? Boy, if you can get a petite roast for $3.99 a pound, take it home and cut it yourself. Now you're saving $1 a pound on that product. And why not? Just get your knife out, cut it to the thickness that you want. You can take the fat off of it. You can do whatever you want to do, but just take that piece of meat home and cut it yourself. That is a great savings at $3.99 a pound for a little larger piece of meat, but something you can cut into steaks to put on the grill. Also in their $5 sale, you got Coke products and Pepsi products sold in the 2-liter bottle, and it looks like Rockstar as well, 3 for $5. That's not terrible. It's not a terrible deal at all. It's only a 3-day sale, and there's limits to all this stuff as far as how much you can buy, up to 3 it looks like. All right, let's slide down this ad a little bit more. Chicken breast at $2.99, just a basic price. We saw this price last week, $11.99 for their T-bone and New York strip. Just one of their basic sales. And then here we are with their USDA beef chuck or round steaks for $5.99. So see, they're putting that loss leader on the front page and offering all those roasts at $3.99 a pound. But if they cut them up for you into steaks, well, then they're charging you $5.99 a pound. You know, so they're trying to make up money for the ones that are just too lazy to take this piece of meat home and cut it themselves. It pays to have nice knives and to cut this meat yourself at home. I know we all have and live busy lives, but to spend just a little bit of time, you know, in that hour you're going to be cooking food for your family that evening, to take the time to cut that meat up before you prepare it, before you prepare everything. It doesn't take that long, and we can do some videos on how to prepare a London broil, how to cut a chuck steak, you know, how to do a bottom round steak, how to cut thin cuts. It's not terribly difficult. You just need to understand, you know, how the piece of meat is supposed to be cut. So let's move on here. Strawberries at $1.99, digital offer. Asparagus at $1.99, digital offer. And then Smithfield bacon at $3.99 each. This is a 12-ounce pack, so not the best deal. It's a so-so deal. You know, these are all kind of savings that they're trying to throw at you, but at a higher gross profit. So they're trying to make money on these digital deals. Their main reason for trying to get you in the store is those front page items, those hot prices that they're limiting you on how many you can buy. Here on the side of this thing, we're going down. Here's some more $5 savings, the 28th, 29th, and 30th. Like on the other side, we got Tyson, basically breaded chicken nuggets and strips for $5 each. There's also a thick cut bacon. A thick cut bacon sold for $5 each as well. Not terrible. On cut fruit, buy two, get one free. They're always going to upcharge you on cut fruit because it's, you know, they have to produce it. And that's not the best deal when you can just take that cheaper piece of fruit home and cut it yourself. Blue Moon at $6.99 a six-pack is actually pretty good if you like Blue Moon. It's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. There's a little more Easter ad. You know, outdoor stuff, and we're not really going over any of those things today. Like we've talked about in the past, I'm really trying to help you save money on your meals that you're going to be putting together on a weekly basis. All right, let's move over to our fries ad. The fries ad today, its main loss leader, front page loss leader, is going to be the boneless beef bottom round roast or London broil. And, you know, there's things that they don't say in here. So it's not just the London broil that's on sale for $2.77 a pound. It's going to be the beef bottom round roast, and then it's going to be the top round roast and the London broil. So, you know, the London broil is produced off the top round. So you're going to be able to get 3 different kinds of roast for $2.77 a pound, and that smashes the competition when it comes to that front page of fries or of the Albertson Safeway ad. So here's Fry's really trying to grab you, you know, and get you in their store to buy a bottom round, a London broil, or a top round roast. And that $2.77 has got to be one of the cheapest prices I've seen on roasts for the whole year. And that's pretty good. Obviously, Fry's wants to get you in their store so you can take advantage of their prices. I can tell you Fry's, in comparison to your Safeway, Albertsons, and Bashas, and a lot like what you would find at, say, a Walmart or a Winco, they're going to run a little lower price, a little more competitive price on your everyday items because they can. They're bigger companies. You know, Kroger or Fry's, you know, they carry, God, they have 2,000 plus stores across the country. So they have more buying power and they're able to just offer you a lower price in general, you know, where you may pay $5.99 for a tube of toothpaste at Albertsons Safeway. You know, on a regular price, that product is going to be in the $3.99 to $4.50 a tube. You know, they're just going to save you money in general by shopping at Fry's. Knowing the affiliate of the small company that you're dealing with sometimes will, you know, give you a good indicator on how much you're going to pay on everyday things. But I can tell you, this Fry's ad, they're fully taking advantage of being able to offer you a cheaper price on a good competitive roast. Now, you're not getting chuck roast at $2.77 a pound, you know, and you can get chuck roast at Safeway for $3.99 a pound in Albertsons. So, but this bottom round and London broil and top round roast for $2.77, man, that's a great price. And one well worth taking advantage of. Hell, go to Safeway and Albertsons and get you a chuck roast, and then go to Fry's and pick you up a bottom round roast as you're trying to plan your weekly meals, you know, or for your everyday dinner, you know, throughout your whole week. And then we also have extra peel or extra large easy peel shrimp, raw 21-25 count, sold in a 2-pound bag for $5.99 a pound, which is a pretty good price. You know, normally these are in that $7.99 a pound to $8.99 a pound range, so you're getting about $3 a pound savings, in my opinion. And then bell peppers and cucumbers and things like that for 88 cents each is also a pretty good loss leader for our produce department to help bring you in. Bratwurst at $2.99, that is a really good deal, you guys. You get a raw bratwurst, you know, and that's the full line, hot Italian, sweet Italian, cheddar brats, chili brats, your jalapeno brats. There's just so many different kinds of brats that Johnsonville makes. At $2.99, this is a good price, and one worth taking advantage of. So it doesn't seem like they have the big 12-pack deal on soda, but here's a digital deal on 2-liter bottles, $1.49 each. Now remember, when you're dealing with Fry's or Kroger Company's weekly digital deals, you can apply this coupon one time throughout the week up to get 5 items on that. That's 5 items in your first purchase. And then you also have your Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage, $2.99. That's a great deal. Asparagus for 99 cents. You know, if you remember at Safeway and Albertsons, I believe the asparagus was $1.99 on their digital deal, and you had to go download that. So Fry's is really pushing the envelope here on drivers to try to bring you into the store or make you go to both stores, which is good. Boneless, skinless breast and chicken party wings sold in a 3-pound bag for $7.99. That's not terrible. That's kind of an average Joe sale for this company. And then here's a look at some of your other digital deals. $1.99 on Lay's potato chips. You know, buying 5 bags or getting up to 5 bags if you want isn't too bad. Let's slide down this ad a little bit more. Pillsbury Crescent rolls at $1.99. That's not terrible. That's in line with the other company. And then here's Hormel bacon. And these are 12 to 16 ounce. I believe this Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a 12 ounce. And also this natural bacon is a 12 ounce. But if you buy the regular black labeled Hormel, that's a full pound size package. And at $4.99 isn't a terrible price. Kind of an average Joe price for that quality of bacon, because Hormel is great quality and a good product. Here's for Boost members. So if you become part of Fry's Boost Club, which I believe, you know, there's a charge per year, an annual charge to be in their Boost Club, but you can get Oscar Mayer sandwich meats sold in the 7 to 9 ounce package for $1.99 each, and that is a great price. Normally in the $3.99 per package. price, 99 cents on these chips and salsa. That's the store brand salsa, but that's a pretty decent price as well. Well, and then here's some odds and ends prices on our GM products. And then a few specials here. Whenever you go down to the bottom of the ad or you get farther back into the ad as far as the pages, it seems like you kind of lose, that's not their gross profit leaders, they're loss leaders. But here's one for seafood, 2 for $12 on your 3-ounce lobster tail. That's an okay deal, $6 a tail. You'll find little better prices on that, but that's a pretty good average price for that tail. And then $11 a pound for your sea scallops is pretty decent and very competitive. Buy one get one free on CPAC, boxed, and they have a large span of ounces that you can buy on this product. So there's a lot of different product you can buy. It's 9 to 16 ounces, so be leery of that as you're trying to take advantage of that buy one get one. Flash sale March 26th through April 1st. Autumn crisp grapes, 2 pounds, $4 each. So it's a big tub, 2 pounds of it, basically $2 each. Remember we looked at that Albertson Safeway ad, and they had grapes in their ad for $1.99. So ad on your Foster Farms chicken drumsticks and thighs and whole fryers for $1.79 a pound. Like we talked about in the past, Foster Farms is a natural product, no injections, no hormones or things like that. They're fed pretty well. But remember, you had an 87 cent a pound whole fryer sold on a digital deal with Albertson Safeway, which beats this price. We also have the 93% lean ground beef sold at $7.49 a pound. This is a very high ho-hum price for 93%. It is leaner, doesn't have as much fat, not near as much waste to it. And if you're looking for that sort of hamburger, on average, I want to say this is $8.99 a pound. So they're taking $1.50 off a pound for this product. And it's not terrible, but just an average price in my opinion. Not too much of a good savings. And that's kind of going to round out, in my opinion, the best deals of this fries ad. All right, let's flip over to the Bashas ad and talk about that one. So Bashas is running today their petite sirloin steak. Which petite sirloin, we've talked about that before. We haven't got into where we're running the real good grilling steaks yet. Your T-bones and your New York strips, your ribeye, your boneless ribeye. But petite sirloin is still part of the sirloin and a decent steak on the grill. At $4.99 a pound, this product regular price is at $8.99. On sale a lot of the times it's $7.99 in the value pack for most companies. So at $4.99 a pound, this is a decent savings on a good steak. But remember, $3.99 a pound for the whole piece of petite, so you can get a petite roast that you could cut into these steaks at Safeway Albertsons for $3.99. So this is it's an okay deal if you do not want to cut this product yourself at home. So $4.99, pay the extra $1 a pound to not have to cut it. It's worth going into Bashas. $2.99 a pound on 80% lean ground beef. Beats Safeway by 50 cents a pound, and not terrible. So it gives you a reason to go over to Bashas. But here we go, 99-cent grapes. So it's double the price to go into basically any other establishment and buy grapes right now. Chicken breasts, $2.99. It's just average. It's average Joe. That's what you want. It's a good consistent price. $1.49 a pound on asparagus. We had a 99-cent a pound digital deal at Fry's. So that one is kind of beat up too, unfortunately. And it's only a Friday, Saturday, Sunday sale. We also have a pork butt at $1.79 for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday pork sale as well, pork butt sale. For those of you trying to put that piece of pork shoulder, on your smoker for the weekend to make those beautiful pulled pork sandwiches. $1.79 a pound is not a terrible price. Is a decent deal and worth heading over to Bashas to grab one of those pork butts. But remember, it's a 3-day ad. We have blood oranges, navel oranges, and Minnesota Tangelinos at 99 cents a pound, which isn't too bad as well. Buy two get two free. So just like Albertson Safeway, they're running the buy two get two free on Coke and Pepsi products, and that's not too bad of a price depending on what the regular price is. You got to kind of read the fine print on their labels to make sure that you understand what you're buying. $3.99 on this Coverdale bacon. Notice it is a 12-ounce product, so $3.99 is about average for that bacon price. Never had Coverdale bacon or Cloverdale bacon. Excuse me. I've never had Cloverdale bacon. So it looks like they carry a thick cut, and it's an Applewood product. So if you like Applewood smoked bacon, at $3.99 for the 12-ounce pack, it's not terrible. It's a pretty good deal. Here we go. Oh my Lord. Remember last week I talked about the Idaho potatoes, the 5-pound bag at $1.50 a bag. Well, here we go. Bashas is rocking a $1.25 each. So, 25 cents cheaper than last week, and still a good deal to go pick up, because you're looking at $3, $4, $5 a bag at their competition, where these guys are running for $1.29 each, up to 4 bags. So you get 20 pounds of potatoes. I tell you, if you're a business, and you French fries, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, whatever you're trying to do, man, go over to this place and grab you 4 bags of potatoes and save yourself some cost, and take advantage of that. Mission tortillas at $1.99 each is also a pretty darn good deal. That's worth taking advantage of. These are digital membership deals, so you will need to download these coupons to take advantage of this. Looks like we have a 26 to 30 count raw, 26 to 30 count easy peel raw shrimp. Looks like tail on for $4.99 a pound. That is a good deal, you guys. That's one worth going to as well. This is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. Then $2.50 a pound for strawberries. I believe we had a cheaper deal at one of the other competitors, so that's okay. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, a little bounty. This is a 7-day digital deal for $7.99. Well, it's 4 rolls. No, scratch that. That is not a good deal. That's them trying to make money on you. Pork shoulder steaks. Here's one of those situations where that front page, $1.79 a pound pork butt. Well, now they're trying to make money on you with the pork steaks that they're going to cut off those pork butts, trying to charge you $2.99 a pound. If you're unwilling to cut your pork butt up, or you're not just putting it on the smoker or in the crock pot, well, then you can buy pork steaks for $2.99. Pork steak is a wonderful steak too, man. Those go really good on the grill. You can pan fry those, smoke them. There's a lot of different things you can do with that pork steak, and it's a good piece of protein. And then you just have some basic deals. Here's your pork shoulder roast on non-digital days for $2.49, which is a very average price. Pork country style ribs at $2.99. Remember, they had a lot of deals. Both Safeway, Albertsons, and Bashas has had lots of deals on your country style ribs last week. Petite sirloin at $5.99. Beef brisket at $4.99. Man, if you're a brisket smoker, I didn't see any brisket in any of the other ads. $4.99 is an average price. It's right in the middle. When you see them on sale, they'll go down to $3.99 or $2.99 a pound. And then they're probably regular priced in that $5.99 to $6.99, so $4.99 being an average price for a brisket. And if you're looking to smoke a brisket, you might want to go to Bashas to pick you up a brisket. Sold whole in the bag, so you're going to have to deal with all the fat, but that's part of dealing with the whole brisket. What else do we got here in this Bashas ad? Bashas bacon, $4.29. It's a 12-ounce package, so not even as good as the Cloverdale bacon that we were looking at before. But another bacon on sale, but it's a 12-ounce package. Man, they're trying to rip you off quite a bit in the bacon industry with that 12-ounce, 16-ounce, and lowering the ounces, you know, and then changing the price. And it seems like they're flip-flopping the packaging on that bacon and trying to make more gross profit on a pretty regular basis. So just be leery of that as you're shopping. Make sure to look at the label and look at the ounces, you know, on those bacon products. As far as I'm concerned, that's the two comparisons. And quite a bit of money to be saved if you just shop around a little bit. You know, normally you'd go spend, if you go to Walmart, you're going to go spend a half hour to an hour shopping around the store, sitting on your phone, you know, doing your pickup order. If you think about how much time it takes to do those things, you really can save quite a bit of money by just applying that time that you would spend, you know, loading all those things to your pickup order. Just spend a little time driving to a couple different grocery stores and picking up some of their very, very cost efficient front page price loss leaders. Your local grocery stores. They really do and can save you a lot of money, you know, on that dinner that you're trying to prepare, or if you're trying to meal plan yourself through a whole week of meals, and you need that good protein, you know, in bulk to be able to meal plan for the whole week. You know, some of these deals are definitely something you should be taking advantage of. All right, well, let's hope that everybody goes out and saves quite a bit of money, and I do so appreciate you spending some time with me today. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. You know that's what makes it all go around. And I appreciate each and every one of you for spending a little bit of time looking at your local grocery store ads and taking advantage of their good pricing over the larger box stores. Thanks again. Bye now.